Hi, Bob Hughes here with JD Squared, and what I'm going to teach you how to do in this video is set the offsets for the different attachments, the marker, scribe, and whatnot. All right, what we've done is we prepared the machine. We've already started it. We homed it. We loaded up a piece of 16 gauge metal. You want to use a piece of thin metal for this because the hole will blow cleaner through it. Notice I've also got some weights on the corner. You can see the plate trying to move a little bit, so I've weighted it down a little bit because you don't want it really flexing around during this operation. All right, let me go ahead and bring the torch up here to the front. And what I'm going to tell you here is what the principle, what we're trying to achieve. Since the MAD is a plasma machine, we regard the torch as the primary head. Everything is referenced off the center of the torch. So the laser, the scriber, the marker, we have to enter offsets. How far away are they from the center of this torch? Now, to determine this and set it in the MAD machine, just like everything we strive to do in the MAD, is very, very simple. What we're going to want to do is move the head to a location that we can blow a hole through the plate pretty easily. So let's go there. Now let's go ahead and drop the head down. I'm sorry. Let's go ahead and drop the head down. There you go. Now what I'm looking to do is get the head about the normal pierce height above the plate, maybe 80, 100 thou. That looks pretty close. We'll go with that. Now we're going to turn on the torch on and off immediately, very quickly. We just want to blow a hole. We don't want the hole to get big just sitting there. So very quickly, I'm going to press the force torch on button and then immediately turn it off, just that fast. Now, we got our hole blown through the plate right here. Now, if you recall, whenever you make a part on a machine, you have to set a part 0 so that the machine knows where we're going to cut that part. We have to do the same thing when we're setting the offsets. So before we move the head, we're going to come over here and we're going to click set 0. And that's set 0. Now you could tell that because right here in the work coordinates, everything went 0, 0, 0 to tell us. Now we can move the head around no problem. Let's go ahead and raise the head up here a little bit. Okay. Now, the first attachment we're going to set the offset for will be the laser. It's really not an attachment considering it's included free with the machine, but let's go ahead and set the laser first. We're going to come over here and we're going to turn on the laser button. You now see the red dot, that's the laser. And we are going to move this dot above that hole right there and center it on the hole. Now the way we're going to know it's centered, or pretty centered, is there's going to be an even red glow around that hole. So let's go ahead and do that. We'll move her over to the right. Okay, now I'm going to move it back. Okay, I'm roughly over the hole. Now, I'm going to use a feature in the MAD control called incremental mode. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to click this button here that's telling the MAD, anytime I push an axis button, I only want you to move 10 thousandths of an inch and stop. We could pick 100 thou, 1 thou, but 10 thou is really a good number for setting the offsets. I come over and I look, and it looks like to me the laser is to the right about maybe 100 thou and towards me maybe 20 thou. So let's click the Y plus button twice, and then we're going to go ahead and hit the X minus button 10 times. Okay, and I'm looking, and I can see right now the glow is this away. So we have to move to the right a little bit and then up. So I'll click the Y plus. There, it looks good. And then we'll go there and we'll take a look at it. Okay, that looks real good. I've got a pretty even dispersal of the laser beam around the hole. At this point, all we have to do is we're going to go to the settings button. We're going to select the laser on the left side, and there's a button right here called get offset. We're done. The laser has been set in relation to the center of the torch. Now, let's go ahead and do the scriber and the other attachments. We go back to run. Let's turn off incremental mode. Let's go back to continuous mode. Now, in order to do this, we have to drop the attachments down so that they're below the torch. The only way to do that is disconnect the air to the system. So let's do that. Okay, there we go. They've dropped down. We're going to do the scribe first because it's below the marker. Let's do the same thing. Let's go ahead and lower the head. Okay, let's raise it up a little bit. Now we're going to go to the right. Now we go ahead and turn the laser off. You can see it on. We'll just turn it off with the button. And let's come towards us a little bit. And same thing we did before. Let's go to incremental mode. I look at it. Looks like I'm to the right, maybe 30 thou, I'm guessing. Let's go 1, 2, 3 on the X minus. Yeah, it's pretty good. I can raise this up. We got to go head this way on the Y plus, a pretty good distance, probably, you know, good 100 thou. Yep, a little bit too far. Let's back her up. Okay, one final check. Looks pretty good that way. Looks good that way. Now, we're happy with the centering. Let's go back to settings. This time, let's pick attachments on the left side. And up here, you'll notice this is scribe, this whole box here. The lower box is marker. All we got to do is go in the scribe button and hit and click the button, get offset. Offset's changed. The machine now knows where the scribe is. All right, now we're going to do the marker, but we need to get the scribe out of the way. One way of doing it is just put a rubber band around it and run it up to the laser. Now she's out of the way. Now we're going to repeat the process we just did with the scriber, but this time with the marker. Let's go to run, and we're going to get off incremental mode. We're going to go to continuous, and we're going to go plus. Now, since everything's been machined, we're going to be pretty close on the y-axis, so I'm not going to worry about that yet. Let's go ahead and engage the marker. And I'm going to go ahead and lower this marker a little bit so I can see it a little clearer in relation to the hole. All right, looks like maybe a 10 thou to the left will help. And then let's look at this. And we got to go Y minus towards us, probably about 60 thou. Yep, one more. How about one more? So we go click, and there we go. The marker's in the center of the hole. Just like before, we click settings. We got attachments, but this time we're going to do the marker. We're going to hit get offset. The numbers have changed, and we have got our offset for that. We can now go back to run, go to continuous mode. Let's raise the torch up, get it out of the way, take off our rubber band. And what we're going to do is re-energize the air system. Alrighty. At that point, everything is done. Why don't we go ahead and cut out a little part to verify it? Let's go ahead and let's say, you know what? Here's where part 0 will be. We're going to cut our part right where the head is. So to do that, we're going to say set 0 right there. Now here's something pretty interesting. We just set 0 for the primary head, right? Watch what happens when we turn on the laser and then we select the laser tool. She just moved to where we set 0. So what I'm getting at is whether you set 0 with the laser or the primary head, it doesn't matter. The machine uses that offset value to get the correct 0 position. Now, you can pretty much see where the little light is. Now watch what happens if we select the scribe. Sure enough, it has now moved over that position. Same thing with the marker. We click there and we move over. So that's just to show you, that's one way to verify that all the zeros have been set correctly. Another way is to run a test program. Let's go ahead and run our standard marker testing program. Okay, she touched off to get the height for the scribing. There goes your marker. Now, you can pretty much tell everything's centered. Now, I'm going to cover my eyes while this thing's running right here. I don't want any flash burn or nothing. I got blue eyes. Okay, and there's our part right there. Right there. Anyway, looking at the part before it fell in the water, everything looked centered. Everything looked pretty good. At this point, you're done. Offsets are set. Hey, you know what? Goodbye and happy cutting.